Let's bring our panel in now. Joining me is Liberal National MP Henry Pike and Liberal MP Andrew Wallace. Great to see you both. Thank you so much for joining me on the show this evening. Let's start with the Greens. Of course, Larissa Waters elected as Greens leader. As I said, it's the same old loopy, weird Greens, except with a new face. Andrew, we'll start with you. What do you make of this appointment?
Look, what do you say? I mean, these guys just clearly they haven't learnt their lesson. You vote for the Greens, you get someone like Lydia Thorpe. That's really the outcome of it all. And look, in my own electorate, the Greens lost a pretty significant primary vote. People have had enough of this extremist group of this political party, and clearly. We've seen the result. They lost 75% of their members in the House at the last election. Sadly, we've still got one Green left in the House, but people are speaking. People have had enough of the militant approach that is being taken by the Greens. This is not the political party of Bob Brown of yesteryear. The Greens need to get back to their basics. If they want to have an environmental party, that's what they should be doing. Sticking to that, people have had enough. They've had a gutful, I think, of this extremism that they've been demonstrating over the recent years of Adam Bandt when he was the leader.
Well, look, I completely agree with you. I mean, long gone are the Bob Brown days. This is a very dangerous new brand of Greens. It's completely irrelevant to Australian culture, so far removed from our values. Here is a bit more of what Larissa Waters had to say at her press conference today.
We've got a lot of work to do because people are really hurting and the planet is hurting, and we need a parliament that actually delivers for people and has the courage and the boldness and the heart to deliver some help to people. So I'm calling today for a progressive parliament and a politics with heart.
Henry, what on earth is a progressive parliament? What exactly does that entail? Where does that fit into the overall scheme of things in politics in this country?
Well, I'm not sure what she's doing calling for a particular type of parliament at this point in time. We've got the parliament the Australian people have delivered to us, and thankfully for me and Andrew, there are 3 less Greens in the lower house that we'll have to listen to on a daily basis. So, I think it's a pretty good outcome, and I'm actually pleased that the Greens are doubling down on their unpopular policies, which has seen their vote decimated across so many areas. And, certainly in my electorate, we saw a fall in first preference for the Greens as well. Deliver up more of that, please. That's what my message to the Greens. Deliver up more of the same and see your vote decline. We would love to have that outcome, and we'd love to be rid of these people who are living in clearly a different world with different priorities to mainstream Australia.
Oh, absolutely. It's so far removed, very loopy and quite frankly, very strange. Now, look, we've got a lot to talk about because there's been the Liberal leadership this week. You now have a new leader in the Liberal Party. But look, there have been many takes on Susan Ley's appointment as Liberal leader, with some actually saying that she's perhaps too far left. Have a listen.
I just feel she's too far to the left. She's going to lose a lot of the members from the Liberal Party because they won't head down the path that the conservative values of the Liberal Party, what it was founded on. That's my opinion about Susan. And I think there's too many moderates in the party that will keep dragging them back to the left of politics.
And look, many Liberals felt that the natural candidate would have been Andrew Hastie. I even personally think that Andrew Hastie would have been a wonderful leader. You can see him as a future Prime Minister. Shame he was hidden throughout the election campaign. But of course, he ruled himself out this week. But he hasn't been sheepish in his support for the new leader.
She has my support, and I also I'm supporting Ted O'Brien, our deputy leader. They've got a big job ahead. And if we don't get our act together as a party, we're going to face an even more challenging election in 3 years' time.
Andrew, what do you make of, firstly, the criticism by the likes of Senator Pauline Hanson? How confident are you that Susan Ley will be there between now and the next election, or is she just a placeholder for somebody like Andrew Hastie to come in and swoop in at the last minute?
Well, Danica, I think that we have to really rally behind both Susan and Ted. They were elected as our leaders just a couple of days ago. It's really good to see Andrew say that he's behind them. I think we are all behind them. We just can't be in a situation where we have some people who are going to snipe from the sidelines. We've got to really get behind her, get behind Ted. I think Susan and Ted demonstrate our best opportunity to really rebuild the brand. I think one of the significant parts of Susan's capabilities will come about through bringing everyone together, but really trying to work with her colleagues in policy development. I think that's going to be crucial because particularly over the next 18 months, we are really going to need to be creating that case, listening to the Australian people, but then developing good policies to meet people where they are. And I think that Susan will do that well because I think Susan will be a very collaborative leader and more to her arm, and we've really got to lock in behind her.
But Andrew, look, there has been, as I said, some criticism. The thing is that there needs to be a different, and there needs to be, but to be fair though, there needs to be some different policy. This was a problem during the election campaign. There wasn't a differentiation in policy. Is Susan Ley going to come forward and really make that stark difference, do you think? I mean, particularly when it comes to, say, nuclear, when it comes to net zero, are we actually going to see policy moving forward that is going to put the party in a more electable winning position?
Well, this is the thing. So this is why I think Susan has the opportunity here to be very successful, because I believe she will listen not just to her colleagues, I believe she'll listen to where people, average Australians, where they're at. And as I said, I think that she will be a very collaborative leader. She's our first woman leader of the Liberal Party. It'll be a change in dynamics, no doubt about that. But look, I'm really excited about the next 3 years. I think that this is an opportunity for us to really dig down into policy development. And that's something that I think we have struggled with for a number of years.
Yeah, and Henry, what's your view on this? Is this the right way forward now for the party? And what do you think that Susan Ley needs to take forward now to put the party in an electable winning position?
Absolutely. I think anyone who underestimates Susan will do so at their peril. She will be formidable as our opposition leader, and I think she's going to really surprise a lot of people, including Senator Hanson. And in fact, I've had a lot of support already from people. I've been out in my community. I've been out at Cancer Council morning tea yesterday, and a lot of women in my area are very excited about the prospect of having a formidable woman leading our party. And also, I'm excited about the approach that she's taking to the leadership and the collaborative approach that she wants to adopt in terms of developing those policies. We want to get back to basics. We want to have a policy platform at the next election that reflects Liberal values. And I'm very confident that with Susan and Ted, we're going to have that. And I think the Australian people are going to be quite happy with what we have to offer.
Yeah, I like that term, back to basics, and I think that's really what it's about, and having that, putting together a policy platform that will resonate with voters, that's not complex, not difficult to understand. So I think that's good. I found it interesting today, though, of course, Liberal MPs are trying to scramble for a spot on Susan Ley's front bench. It's now been reported in the Daily Telegraph that Andrew Hastie and Angus Taylor may actually be considering a move to the backbench, Hastie to spend time in his electorate in WA, and Taylor if he's not asked to continue on as shadow treasurer. Andrew, I remember earlier this week you said here on Sky News that he's got to lick his wounds perhaps for 24 hours, but that you really do need Taylor to come back fighting more than ever. To lose those two to the backbench, I think, would be absolutely diabolical for the party. How confident are you that they will get key roles and that they won't just want to just self-retire themselves out of the spotlight?
Look, I don't think that they'll want to go and sit on the bench. I think that these two gentlemen have got a lot to offer the party and the Australian people. We've been really decimated in this last election. We need to ensure that our best people are not only on the park, but are very actively on the park and playing very important roles on the park. That's the only way we're really going to get ahead, is if we are working together as a team and we have our best people out there. And the reality is we just cannot afford to have two of our best performers sitting, in the bleachers. They need to be out in the park working hard with the rest of us. And I think they've got extraordinary talent, and we need them out there with us.
Yeah, and Henry, what do you think? I mean, it would, as I said, I think it would be remiss of Susan Ley not to give some of their best performers in the Liberal Party, people like Angus Taylor, Andrew Hastie, and even Senator Jacinta Nampijinpa Price, to not give these people key roles, put them front and centre, and get them to know the Australian public. Let the Australian public get a feel of them between now and the next election. I think it would be such a waste to have talent on the backbench. Were you surprised by these reports?
I was a bit surprised by those reports, but I think Susan's been absolutely clear that she is very keen to have a cabinet that reflects the whole breadth of the Liberal Party, including those individuals. And I think that they've been clear today in clarifying their remarks to make it clear that they're available for selection. So I think that we're going to have a good unified team moving forward with our best people, putting their talents where we need it, and that is taking on the Labor Party. Of course, we're facing a significant challenge in this new parliament. They're going to have more than double the members we have. We've all got to work 3 times, 4 times harder than we have in the past, and I think we're going to need every hand of the wheel on this one. And I'm certain we'll have a better result in the next election with the united effort of our entire team.
Yeah, oh, look, fingers crossed. Now, look, I want to talk about the ongoing issues of such between the Liberals and the Nationals, because Susan Ley and Nationals leader David Littleproud held their first formal talks to set up a coalition agreement between the parties today. But greater representation for the Nationals in the coalition leadership team and the direction of climate policy remain unresolved. Andrew, this goes back to my earlier question, because David Littleproud made it very, very clear in his press conference this week that the Nationals will continue to support nuclear, and he strongly put the case forward to drop net zero by 2050, to pull Australia out of the ridiculous Paris Agreement. I think it's a great move on his part. But the issue is the Liberals really going to support, particularly dropping out of net zero by 2050? And would you continue with your nuclear policy? I mean, this is where you could really be at odds with the Nationals here.
Yeah, look, there's always a possibility for that, but I think that both parties will need to formulate their own positions in the first instance, and that will come about through this cathartic process that we're going through right now. And then hopefully we'll be coming together as a coalition. I think that if the Liberal Party decide to go their own way and the National Party decide to go their way, we're never going to get anywhere. The only way we can serve the Australian people, the only way we can hold the Labor Party to account is in a coalition. The only way we can govern is if we are in a coalition. So there's going to need to be quite a lot of soul searching on both sides of the fence. There's no doubt about that. But ultimately, these discussions will be had by the party room, the joint party room as well. And we will have to land a position on this. And I'm not going to ventilate what that might be today. There's a lot of water to go under the bridge, both behind closed doors, as there should be. And then we'll come out with a unified
Andrew,
approach.
do you still support nuclear? Are you still for nuclear?
Yeah, look, I do support nuclear. I think that the country can't go down a route of 82% renewables. We need dispatchable, full-time, reliable, affordable power. And we know that we can't get all of those things with putting all our eggs in one basket of renewables. Now, ultimately, whether it's nuclear, whether it's an emphasis on gas, whether it's all of the above with renewables as well, those are things that we've got to discuss. But at the end of the day, you can't get around the ironclad rules of physics and science, and that is that we just cannot provide a part-time. You can't provide part-time energy grid for a full-time economy.
We're going broken backwards under this renewables only experiment.
No
literally, we cannot. We don't know how to keep the lights on during heat wave, during cold snaps. We've got absolutely no idea. And you only need to look to Spain and Portugal in recent weeks to give you an example of exactly where this is going. But in terms of the coalition agreement, Henry, the Nationals are, I've got to say, really propping up the Liberal Party right now, because the Nationals aren't the ones that lost a tremendous amount of seats. So how critical is it that they really thrash this out and get back to being a team?
The National Party are an absolutely critical part of our team. And, for a coalitionist like myself, we, Andrew and I, are both part of the merged party up here in Queensland. We really respect the role that the National Party plays, both as sort of a conscience of the coalition, but also to provide those regional and rural voices into the joint party room. We totally understand and expect the National Party to be very vocal, to drive a hard bargain in these negotiations, and we respect the positions that they bring. But obviously there's a lot of discussions that's going to have to occur over the course of the next couple of weeks, including, how many cabinet positions each party is going to get in the shadow cabinet. These are all, par for the course. I don't think, anyone who's predicting a divorce of the long-standing marriage between the Liberal and the National parties, I think are dreaming. This is just par for the course. We've got some discussions to have, given the results that we've had a couple of weeks ago. And I think, it's healthy and good for us to have those discussions.
Henry, I'll ask you the same thing. Do you still support nuclear?
I think it would be a big mistake for the coalition to abandon our nuclear policy. I think that we were brave enough and I think we made the right call in coming out in favour of having a nuclear industry here in Australia. I do think that there may be some tinkering to that policy. It may take a different form. The model may be shifted slightly. But I certainly would be in favour of maintaining that. We've made the hard yards and making the case for it. I don't think it was the major factor in our election defeat. And I think that if you fast forward another 10 or 15 years, I think you'll find that both sides of the parliament are supporting nuclear energy in Australia.
Yeah, well, if powerhouses...
Can I just jump in there, Danica?
Yeah, sure.
On that point, you asked me whether I support nuclear, and I said I do. But we've also got to recognise that that there's a lot of people in Australia who still are not confident about how nuclear operates, whether it can be done safely, etc.
Yeah,
we need to be able to sell that better.
Yes.
And, this is not just a matter of rinse and repeat. I think we do need to listen very, very carefully to what the people of Australia have told us over the last 2 weeks.
No, I think that's a fair point. It has to be sold much better than it did. And it disappeared, really, in the last few weeks of the campaign. I mean, the only person mentioning nuclear was Anthony Albanese in those last few weeks. It certainly wasn't the coalition. But, look, it's an important discussion because, as we said, we're going broken backwards under renewables. Henry, Pike, Andrew Wallace, good to chat with you both. Thank you so much for joining me on the show this evening.
Authorised by Andrew Wallace, LNP, Boccarina, Queensland.